Jenny's Magic Sketchbook 42, The One Who Didn't Return Story by S.Nova, illustrations by ChatGPT. 1. The Silent Dream Library. Jenny stepped into a dream library that stretched beyond sight. There was no wind, no breath, no footsteps, yet every book on the shelves trembled faintly, as though something inside them feared being still. Jenny walked softly, each step ringing in the hush. The trembling grew stronger as she moved deeper, shivering like a heartbeat trapped in paper. Then, from a distant corner, she heard a shaken whisper. 2. The Book That Whispered. Following the sound, she found a dust-soaked book quivering on its spine. Its cover fluttered as if trying to inhale. "Pick me up," it whispered. Jenny hesitated, then slowly lifted it. Warmth pulsed beneath its worn leather. "Open me," it urged, voice thin with desperation. "Please, open me." 3. The Drop. Startled by the plea, Jenny's fingers slipped. The book tumbled from her hands and struck the floor with a harsh thud. "Wait, no, I didn't mean to drop you." The impact forced the cover wide open, pages bursting out like a creature finally tearing free. Light and ink sprayed across the floor in wild, trembling arcs. Jenny staggered back, panic tightening her chest. I wasn't trying to open you," she whispered, but guilt was already knotting inside her, a heavy truth she couldn't take back. 4. The First Escape. Figures erupted from the glowing pages. A winged boy with torn feathers, a cruel king dragging a broken crown, a cracked playwright leaking ink tears, an ink beast shaped like a shifting shadow, and a faceless poet mouthing silent words. Some were familiar, some were nightmares she'd never imagined. They shoved past one another, racing into the aisles. The library trembled as if bracing for what would follow. 5. Chaos Eye. The shelves break free. The shelves lurched, sprouting long wooden legs. They thundered across the floor, toppling stacks and shaking loose storms of books. Jenny ducked beneath flying pages, the ground trembling like an earthquake of stories. Why are the shelves running? The escaped spirits used the chaos as cover, darting toward the trembling doorway of the library. 6. Chaos 2. The Ink Tide. Ink jars burst across the floor one by one. Black ink flooded outward in a sweeping tide, rippling with shapes of half-formed stories. The ink beast from earlier melted into the tide, rising again as a massive ink whale. "This library is my ocean now," it bellowed. Spirits slid across the tide, carried toward escape. Jenny climbed onto a desk as the world of books unraveled around her. 7. Urgency. Beyond the doorway yawned an endless void, cold, depthless, and final. If they cross that, they'll disappear forever. Jenny ran, weaving through collapsing shelves and ink waves. She glanced toward the spot where she had dropped the book. It still lay open, glowing faintly, as though calling her back, as though the answer was waiting right there. She turned and sprinted toward that light. 8. The Wrong Ending. She knelt beside the book and flipped to the final page. Only one sentence glared back at her. "And they never returned to the book again." Jenny's stomach tightened. If that's the ending, there really is no path back. The spirits were almost at the door. She tapped the last line, thinking fast. What if the ending isn't finished yet? 9. Jenny's decision. Jenny drew her pencil with shaking fingers. A cold wind seemed to circle her, as if the book itself held its breath. She swallowed hard. "Okay, I'm going to fix this." The tip of her pencil hovered above the page, and for a moment she felt the weight of the whole library pressing against her hand. Then she wrote, but in the end, each spirit remembered its place and returned home. The ink shimmered violently, as if the story resisted and obeyed at the same time. 10. The Return Storm. A scream tore through the aisles. "No, I wasn't done exploring. Rewrite it again." Light exploded outward in a spiraling storm. Spirits twisted like scraps of torn paper and were pulled back into their pages, their cries fading into ink. Shelves slammed into place. The ink tide hissed and vanished. And then the trembling Jenny had felt. At the very beginning finally made sense. They had been straining for this moment. 11. Almost everyone returned. The storm ended. The library stilled. Jenny opened the book, breath uneven. Most pages lay flat and peaceful, but on the final page, dark ink seeped downward like slow, cold tears. A sentence formed by itself. But one did not return. A chill brushed the back of Jenny's neck, as though someone had just passed behind her. 12. The missing one. The library stood silent again, but something in its silence felt incomplete, like a missing heartbeat in a sleeping world. Jenny clutched the book and looked toward the doorway. The darkness beyond pulsed faintly, as if watching her. One of them stayed out here, she whispered. And for the briefest second, she wondered if the missing one was something she had forgotten about herself. The dream cracked, and she woke up.